All right, so final workout of the fourth week of the fall cut. So we'll get started with the Bible verse of the day. Comes from Luke chapter 1, verse 37. For nothing will be impossible with God. So, very straightforward to the point. It's really that simple. Um, Even though that might be really hard for people to understand, that nothing is impossible with God because end of the day, that is 1000% true. Whether it be, um, how you are as a person, your career, relationships you have with other people, you really can do whatever you set your mind to. And um, I think a big thing nowadays is people often and too often um, spend too much time watching other people's lives and comparing their lives to theirs and just thinking like, oh, this person, has it all, they have this, they have that, like, whatever, instead of really putting, all that energy and focus, into their lives and getting to where they want to be. So, and that's just the thing with social media. That's just how it is. But um, I think you just have to, push that away and really just if you want to, if you have goals and if you have aspirations, you want to get better as a person, you want to improve your health, the way that you look, um, just anything that you want to improve in life, um, you know it's really you versus you. You can't be in the habit of constantly comparing yourself to other people, caring about other people's opinions. You have to really just be in the moment and understand that you're in control of a lot more than you think you are. But at the same time, you can't overthink, you can't overanalyze, and that's a big thing I think with bodybuilding. Like, people just so many times, overanalyze how they look, overthink how they look, how they train, what they need to eat. It's like the simpler you keep it, the better. And you have to just understand, like, you're in a constant battle with yourself. You're not, when you're bodybuilding, the only time you're competing against other people is when you get on stage. And like, if you're in prep, if you're in the off season, you have to just have the mindset of, you know, it's you versus you. You got to just be 1000% in control of what you can be in control of as much as possible. So I'll leave it at that. But workout wise, calves and arms, same routine as always on Saturday. So we'll get in there, get the pre-workout down, go through our usual routine, get warmed up, and yeah. So I'll see you guys for calves and arms. All right. So first movement will be for calves, and the only movement that we'll do for calves, as always. So the calf raises. We'll do a couple warm up sets, one without any weight, and then one with about 50% of the weight for the top set. And then we'll do just one top set to failure, finishing with partials within that 15 to 30 rep range. So you guys might be thinking, is this enough for calves every week? I really think it is. This is a very intense exercise here that I do with that rep range, going to failure, finishing with partials, going heavy with the weight that I do it with. In the way that I'm doing the calf raises, you see, I'm not coming all the way up, so I'm really keeping that tension the whole time. And yeah, a really really deep burn, very very deep stretch there, and yeah, the day after, the calves are very sore. So not that that's always the indicator of it being the perfect exercise, but it tells me that we're going hard, and I'm really pushing the limits here, and going past failure. So it is more than enough with this training style, high intensity, low volume. The volume with this movement for this body part within the training style, within my routine, is more than enough. Alright, so we'll get into triceps next, starting with the V-bar push down here. So we'll just do, well actually, before I even start any tricep movement, I'll just do single arm push downs with the cable attachment for each arm. I'll just do a set of 10 for each arm. And then we'll do one warm-up set with the V-bar before we get to our top set. So we'll do 2 top sets to failure, finishing with partials within that 5 to 9 rep range. And the biggest thing with these is not arching your back a lot. You're more so standing straight up, and you really want to just use your triceps, really, as much as possible. You know, when you go heavy, it's going to be kind of hard to not use any momentum. So we are using, it seems like a little bit, but the main focus is really on the triceps here. And this is working all 3 heads. Crazy burn here, crazy stimulation on the triceps. So I definitely would suggest throwing this in your guys' tricep routine. Alright, so second and a final movement for triceps will, as always, be the over-exaggerated skull crushers. So with these, we're going behind the head and staying there in that fully stretched position. We're coming up, not in front of our face, but pretty much at the top of our head where we're extending, starting behind our head, just coming up to in front of the top of our head. So staying back in that exaggerated position, if you want to call it that, you know, this is ultimately going to put more tension, and then you're going to get more stimulation, specifically on the long head of the triceps. So, which is, you know, the bottom part or the back part of your tricep. If you're standing up, it's the back part. So, if you guys are looking to really have big arms, doing this movement is really going to help. Because whenever you flex, whenever you're standing up, you know, the part of your tricep that hangs down, that's where the long head is. And, yeah, that's really going to give you, you know, that mass and that big arm look. Not look, but you'll have big arms. So I definitely would suggest doing this in your routine. Alright, so first movement for biceps and forearms as well is going to be the preacher hammer curls. So this movement is specifically hitting the brachialis, the muscle that connects from the forearm into the bicep. So, yeah, this is just really a movement that I tried just several weeks ago, and was kind of just torn around with a few different hammer curl variations, and ultimately this one has felt the best for me, so I'm going to stick with this going forward. So we'll just do 1 warm-up set and then 1 top set to failure within that 5 to 9 rep range, and finishing with partials. Alright, so next movement will be the dumbbell incline curls. So, working with the same weight as the last couple weeks, looking to get more reps, and we just got 1 more rep here, which, you know, we're not going to progress as frequently as we would on the bulk. I've said that before during this fall cut. That's to be expected, but that does not mean that we do not prioritize the intensity of our workouts, going to absolute failure, going past failure even, which we do on most of our movements. Non-compound movements, accessory movements, we are going past failure as best as we can. So the intensity is still the main factor. So, but still, we're making the progressions we need to, going up in weight, getting more reps, doing what we need to do. Just to clarify, we did 1 warm-up set and then 2 top sets to failure, finishing with partials within that 5 to 9 rep range for the dumbbell incline curls. So for the next movement, the barbell curls, standing up against the wall here to mitigate any momentum being utilized.
We'll do one warm-up set and then one top set to failure, finishing with partials, again, within that 5 to 9 rep range. Alright, so final movement for arms will be the reverse curls. This is mainly to target the forearms, but also hits a bit of the biceps as well. Just not as much as the barbell curls or incline curls. But yeah, last week was very sloppy with this. Technique wasn't there. Tempo wasn't there. This week was much better. And yeah, so one warm-up set, one top set to failure, finishing with partials within that 5 to 9 rep range. Alright, so we'll do core for the second time this week. Working with the same weight as before. Looking to get more reps, which we did. So again, making the right progressions that we need to. Even though on the cut, it will not be as frequent or as large of progressions as much as on the bulk. And what I mean by that is, week to week, we may only and have gotten just one more rep on a movement. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. Intensity is the main factor, the most important part of your training. If you are not at least going to, 1 or 2 reps in reserve, close to failure, you're just not going to grow how you want to, make the progressions that you want to, get as big as you want to. Yeah, so you just have to really prioritize intensity and keep that the main factor. So we'll just do one warm-up set and then one top set within the 15 to 30 rep range, finishing with partials with the crunches here on the Nautilus machine. And yeah, altogether, this workout, if we're going to compare it to last week's calves and arm workout, definitely went better. Couple movements were sloppy, so we cleaned that up. Form was better. Intensity still the main factor, and we're making the right progressions that we need to. So I will see you guys on Monday for the start of the 5th week of the fall cut. Thanks for watching. God bless.